Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering this week's episodes of Beyond the Gates, November 11th through the 14th. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video in support of me, and you can subscribe if you are new and enjoying the content that I'm bringing you. Let's stay connected. And also, you can leave your comments below. All right, so let's get into these week's episodes. Okay, so this episode, there was only 4 episodes this week. There was a repeat on Monday, I think had to do with Veterans Day, even though Veterans Day was on the 11th or something like that, whatever it was. This week kind of wasn't as explosive. I think the high point of this week was Eva and Kat, even though I'm going to be going off on Eva sometimes and possibly being a little bit logical because I am Team Kat, but it's just like, yeah. So, Kat is ranting to Chelsea and Thomas about the situation. Guess who walks in? Uninvited. And also came in without knocking or nothing. Even. Chelsea and Thomas wisely step out of the way as Eva and Kat have another verbal battle. Threats are exchanged before Eva struts out. Thomas tells his girlfriend that, truth be told, she was in the wrong. Eva, he says, has every right to a relationship with Ted. I think it's true. He adds that Kat's attitude is not doing their relationship any favors. Anytime Thomas wants to have a fight with Kat, it's because of Eva. It's not because of the relationship at all. Like, that's where their problems stem from, even when he smashed her. He adds, okay, in fact, when Isaiah calls, Thomas is happy to say they can meet at Uptown, of course, to get out of the whole situation. And, of course, while the newbie is waiting for the lawyer's arrival, a vodka-seeking Eva walks in. They further bond as she admits that there's a part of her that wants to connect with Kat and the rest of Ted's family. That's just Kat, Martin, Samantha, Tyrell, Smitty, and Andre. Everybody else is on board, but Kat's not. Are you trying to say about the Duprees? Because that's not Ted's family. Now, in marital ways it is, but that line is just not going to make sense with me. What do y'all think about that? As for Kat, Chelsea's attempt to talk sense into her go miserably with the fashionista declaring she'll do whatever it takes, including take a page from Leslie's book if it means keeping Eva out of Ted's life. I do feel like with Eva, you don't have to have a relationship with Kat, you don't have to have a relationship with Eva. Taking her out of Ted's life is not cool. Even though Leslie did, they're not going to be as easy on you. For whatever reason, Leslie gets this free pass now because they hardly did anything to Leslie after the whole reveal back in April. Now, all right, so at Bill's office, Haley swings by to take him to lunch, but instead winds up devouring his would-be client, Isaiah, with her eyes. Now we got Haley looking for a young tenderoni. For his part, Bill isn't thrilled when Jacob's brother assumes Haley is his niece. Although Bill may have been a tad oblivious, Caroline notes to her gal pal that she was eating Isaiah up with a spoon. While acknowledging that she's not blind, Haley insists her husband is the only man for her. Sure. Later, she slips more of her slow-acting drug into her man's soup, but he'd rather get frisky than satisfy his hunger. All right, so Samantha, let's talk about her. Smitty and Martin are at odds again, thanks to Martin's unilateral, harsh decisions where Sam's concerned. Sam warns that if Martin doesn't change his ways, he'll push everyone he loves away. Things calm down with Martin suggesting that they take their kids offline. Smitty nixes that and suggests that they should let Samantha return to Chelsea Cat as an incentive to behave. Meanwhile, Sam is at Orphan Jeans with her mom, June, while the teen hopes that June will side with her, That's definitely not the case. Sam asked if she can come live with June. Although, come live with June. June is in a shelter. Although June admits she's not in a place where she can be a full-time mother to her children. They bond as June shares a story about her mother and father passing. You still have a chance to make things right with your fathers. And by episode's end, Sam goes home, apologizes to her dad and pops, and the family seems well on their way to healing. What I can say, because I know you guys have probably heard me as to how I felt of even June being in their lives, and she's not supposed to be in their lives, I was like, it was cringe to me and triggering. Like, what in the world? I'm glad that June stuck by. Look, I can't really parent, and I'm not their guardian, parental person right now. I've just been given a gift right now to have you in my life. So no. But then for Samantha to say to come live with you, you don't even know where this woman is living at, and she lives in a shelter. And that's what you do all the time, Sam. You run to Smitty when you don't agree with Martin, and you want Smitty to fight your battles. And you did the same thing in regards to with June. And again, June has no say over nothing that goes on in the Richardson's house. You're crazy. But that's teenage thinking, though. You know? So it's just like, I can expect it, but you still sound crazy. With Martin, I think that he went so far as to ground her the way that he did, as far as taking that Chelsea Cat thing away from her. It's because he wanted her to feel what they were feeling in regards to, I don't really have control of this child. Even all the things that were taken away from her, she's still got a smart mouth and an attitude. She don't even think anything that she did was wrong, or what she's saying to us is wrong. No, let me hit her where it hurts at, for real. I think it was that, like I said, to regain control over a situation that he felt he was losing. Do I think it was right? No. But I think that drastic times calls for drastic measures, you know? All right, so we're on Wednesday. Kat warns Ted she'll never forgive Eva. Plus, Danny makes a shocking decision. So Ted tries talking sense into Kat, but she's about as interested in discussing Eva as I am. She's really as I am as discussing air pudding, basically. I mean, why does this even exist? Ted explains his stance, but all Kat sees is him trying to treat Eva as her equal. Kat, in reality, she is. That's a blood relative to Ted and also you. Folks would call her illegitimate. Yeah, you can. However, she has a right to be in Ted's life. Kat insists Eva isn't a good person, let alone worthy, especially given the destruction she and Leslie brought. I can agree with that. All these jokers had to just wait long enough for some of y'all adults to just get over it. They didn't have to pay for nothing. Instantly, Eva got a hotel room. Leslie all of a sudden got to become Barbara's unknown child that she got rid of, and got all this money, and now lives right next to the Capri's with no work whatsoever. She was just eating toast the other day. Somebody else's toast that was left. So it's like, I'm supposed to expect it. I'm supposed to expect to receive people that ruined my family, let alone try to take another person out. Shout out to Ms. Laura. Ted says he, not Eva, blew up the family. Yes and no. Yeah, Ted, you did. You kept this a secret. You didn't even say nothing of what was going on. However, you didn't even know that you had a child. Eva came back and did her thing. I do like that somewhat Ted is taking blame for what has happened to his family, but it just don't even feel like you fought for your family that you so loved and all that, as far as when you were turtleneck Ted. Ted promises that Eva is not going anywhere, neither is Kat. He loves them both, but she makes it clear she will never trust Eva, and that's her God-given right. Nor will she accept her as a sister. That's her God-given right too. Again, scheming to try to keep them away from each other is not the way to go, Kat. Sorry. Oh, we're at the country club, and at the same time, Eva's trying to desperately keep mom's expectations in check where Ted is concerned. So you're going to spend the rest of your life trying to babysit this woman that you know is unhinged, all because that's my mama. That's crazy. Why do you, I mean? Basically, the baby is the baby is the mama, or the grandbaby is the mama. At this, they are joined for country club lunch by Jan. Of course, Jan is just grateful to be next to Leslie because this is the only chance that she gets to be amongst the who's who. And I think that's the real objective as to why Jan wants to be friends with Leslie. During a moment alone, Eva asks her mom's friend to stop encouraging her to pursue Ted. Help her make good choices, Eva urges her when Jan wants to give Leslie the benefit of the doubt where Ted is concerned. That's why she asked you to go talk to Leslie in the first place, Jan. But Jan is very weird sometimes. Oh, we're going to talk about Danny. As they prepare to leave for the Forrester Creations photo shoot in Los Angeles, Danny and Andre are surprised to receive the blessings of Anita and Vernon. Thank God. The patriarch admits he and his wife had reservations, but they are now fully supportive because Andre has brought their firebrand of a daughter back to life and pulled Danny out of her Bill-inspired spiral. Anita declares, "We have all decided we like each other." Before sending the couple on their way alone, Danny gives Andre one more chance to back out of the shoot, worrying when he again uses the word risk, but he's all in, saying that he has to swing by his apartment to pick up a few things and will meet her at the airport. But when she arrives at the airport, Danny says the trip is off. Why? If you really think about it, she tells her, "Hubby, you know why." Well, certainly, I think we need to know why. Here we go with Derek. Naomi helps Ashley pack up Derek's belongings while he's at the hospital, impressing Shanice with his ability to stand. Ashley admits to Naomi that she wasn't completely honest with Derek regarding her feelings for Andre, while Derek tells Shanice about the wedding being off. Despite everything, he wants her to push him harder than ever so that he can fully recover. Derek later swings by the apartment he formerly shared with Ashley, whom he ran into the hospital at. Naomi's there, encouraging him to get his crap out of there. She's being the supportive friend to Ashley. He hands Naomi the key to the apartment, asking her to return it to Ashley. Meanwhile, Shanice admits to Ashley that she knew what was going on with Derek, but adds she couldn't say anything because of HIPAA laws. So there's not really much to say there. It is what it is. I have no clue where those two are going at all. All right, so we're back to Andre and Danny. We're picking up from yesterday's episode. Danny explains to Andre that he's why she canceled the Forrester Creations shoot. She points out that he has repeatedly talked about the risk of the shoot, and he eventually agrees to tell her the truth. He's afraid he's going to look like a zebra in a hippo family and ruin her comeback. Fully understanding, Danny stands by his decision and cancels the trip to Los Angeles. I know Rich Forrester is just pissed at these off and on wishy-washy folks. She suggests that since they are already at the airport, they pick a destination and start their honeymoon. After considering several destinations, they settle on going to Los Angeles despite having ditched the shoot. I think that's very unprofessional. No, that's not cool. Eva can barely suppress an epic eye roll as she watches Ted and Leslie form a mutual admiration. Jenny beats a hasty retreat as talk turns to basketball, privately telling Eva that Leslie can only make progress with Ted if he allows it, you know? And it's true. Does Leslie have ways of worming herself in? Yeah, but Ted is, I would say, intelligent enough, but he lets it happen. Meanwhile, Leslie finds out about Winterfest and fishes for an invite from Ted, which doesn't come. Eva tries getting her mom to think about other charities, but it's immediately clear Leslie's going to horn in on Anita's event. Ted later tells Nicole that he wants to invite Eva as a +1 to Winterfest. His ex points out that this will not go down well with Kat. Of course not. And Ted's response is, in essence, tough. She'll have to deal with it. All right, so Vernon and Sharon. They have their latest hush-hush get-together at Uptown, which y'all should know that he's not having an affair. Why would he go someplace public with her? Shouldn't they meet somewhere more private if he's so concerned about Anita finding out? True. Sure, Vernon said it's the kind of place his kids or grandkids would more likely be recognized. But why not meet behind closed doors, duh? Hard as the writers are trying to convince us that Vernon's cheating, I'm pretty sure that the both of them are rehearsing for a musical number for Winterfest. All right, it looks like Derek's getting his groove back again. Derek gets help from fellow firefighters Liam and Sherry in moving his stuff out of Ashley's apartment. Sherry arranges to be alone with Derek for a moment and says that he doesn't necessarily have to get through this tough time alone. Proving it, she pulls him into a kiss. Derek, however, pulls away, admitting that he's still in love with Ashley. Anybody else really dig Sherry or whatever? Y'all think that Sherry should be a little bit more permanent on the cast? I think that was a little bit better than the whole Shanice thing, if I'm just saying. If you really want to talk about it, but anyways. Alright, so we're on to the last day, Friday. We're whipping right through this because it just wasn't that much really going on. Alright, so Naomi and Jacob join Bill and Haley for dinner at the country club. Things go quickly awkward when Naomi tells him about Danny and Andre's honeymoon plans. Oh my gosh. Why are they still having this going? Things go from bad to worse with each topic, including Derek and Ashley's breakup. Jacob's brother and Haley supposed hope to have a baby soon. But it's a... Wait, what? I don't know. They talk about pregnancy. I believe Haley wanted to possibly get a new baby. Blah, 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 blah. But while they were talking about this, it's Haley's phone to look at pictures of the new St. Bart's vacation home that things get really interesting. Because Naomi sees a message for Haley from the pharmacy. What does it say? That her birth control pills are ready to pick up. No doubt realizing what Naomi saw, Haley later tells Bill she's frustrated by having to take birth control pills because her hormones are out of whack from the miscarriage. For some reason, that doesn't add up, but hey, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a woman, so hey. All right, at the Dupree's, Leslie barges in on the Dupree's yet again so that she can offer her services at the Winterfest. Anita says the big event isn't looking for more volunteers, convincing Barbara's daughter to donate cash as opposed to helping with the event. On her way out, Leslie gives Laura, and I hate this for Laura, a jump scare. So, is Leslie the villain or the comic relief? It's like y'all just trying to jump her in two places, and we're like, you can say, well, both, but from what? Y'all, nobody's pressing her at all. But I do think that the writers need to pick a lane on what they want from Leslie, because y'all want her to be a formidable person amongst the community. It's so weird. I think maybe a year from now, if this was happening with Leslie, I think we could embrace it a little bit more, at least get into some more trouble, let her be on the run for a little bit, something. Later, Leslie crosses paths with Isaiah and Jacob, offering to fund Jacob's next... Jacob. Crosses paths with Isaiah and Martin. Sorry about that. Offering to fund Martin's next campaign. Of course, Martin was like, we good over here. And Anita frets that Leslie will wind up ruining Winterfest. But after a long talk with Nicole, relents by calling Leslie and agreeing to have her work on the event. All right, we got a little Vanessa and Joey. Joey tries getting to the truth about Randy's connection to his supposed lover, Haley. When Randy refuses to divulge info, Joey warns him to keep whatever he's doing away from his door. Joey finds Vanessa talking to a wealthy patron out of gambling his way into debt. He gets upset about her butting into his literal business. Vanessa asks if he doesn't feel even a bit responsible for what happened to Doug. So he grows increasingly frustrated by the conversation, so much, in fact, that he kindly accidentally blurts out that he loves her. Y'all think it's love or a distraction? But anyways, that was it for this week's episode. You know, I ain't got no more. Yeah, I don't know what is going to happen between Kat and Eva, but I feel like all of this storyline has been branched out as far as the storyline between Eva and Kat. Everything. It's not even about Ted and Nicole and all that. All things go back to Nicole. If we remember, there was a description of what Kat's character is, and I'm going to see if I can find it. Oh, give me a second. Okay, just 1 second. Kat Richardson, Dr. Nicole Dupree Richardson, and Ted Richardson's miracle baby. She's the younger sister of Martin Richardson and lives in her parents' guest house. Kat's been indulged in all her life, which has made her spoiled, entitled, and dismissive of those she considers beneath her. She's confident and secure and has never doubted herself or her privileged position in the world. She doesn't like to share, but doesn't know that the day when she is forced to may be fast approaching. So, yeah, that's basically it. It's not like we knew that this is going to come ahead as far as when we were looking at the description or whatever, you know. I think that she's made some weird choices. And even though I am Team Kat, I think, like, look, some things you're just going to have to let it be what it be. Again, I don't care that Kat doesn't want to accept her. I don't think that it's right to try to drive a wedge between Kat and Ted. They want to work on a relationship, and you have to give them that. There's nothing that you can do to stop that. Sorry, you know. But that's all I have for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed. It wasn't that good as far as story-wise, you know, but hopefully next week it picks up. Can't wait for this Winter Fest. Y'all need to do something with Leslie writers because it's just weird to me. I'm sorry. And then you just came up in Laura's face like Laura did something to you, and you were taunting her about what you did to her. And you know that she was scared like that? Like, so again, if she's reformed and Barbara's daughter and wants to do so good, and then show that. Even though I don't buy it. But it's just like, we don't know what's up. And y'all, it's not a good teaser. But whatever. Maybe y'all got stuff down the line, as y'all say. But anyways, like, comment, share, subscribe. And until the next one, peace.